So these are the instructions for the FTIR. We'll start with transmission mode FTIR, and you're going to put your sample into a window using this piece. If there's already a window in there from someone else who's running previously, just punch it out with your scupula and make sure that it's a nice clean opening. So to make these windows, you're going to need to use potassium bromide, chemical formula KBr. It needs to be very, very dry. And you're going to see me make it from this packet. You're not going to use a packet. You are going to use nicely desiccated, really good KBr. So you pour about 100 to 500 milligrams of this into the mortar and pestle. And then you want just a little bit of your sample. You really just want a milligram or so. So I like to use the scupula with the very fine tip, and I know that if I just cover just the tip of the fine part of the scupula, that's a reasonable amount of stuff. And you'll see in the spectra if you've added too much. So you put that in there, and you are making a solid mixture. So you're going to mix it up the best that you can. And then you're going to grind it in the mortar and pestle. And you want to continue grinding it until everything is a very, very, very fine powder, a mixed together fine powder. And then you're going to make a window out of this fine powder with the mixture of KBr in your sample. You assemble the setup that you're going to use to compress the window like so. There's where the window's ultimately going to wind up in that piece. So there's nothing there right now. But when you assemble it, there's a small gap right there. And you are going to take a small amount of material. That's too much, actually. But you're going to take a small amount of material and put it into that little gap. And then you're going to put the anvil piece on top. You're going to make it so that that rim matches the ring piece. And you're ready to compress it. So now that we've made the pellet, we need to compress it to make it into a window, to make it into the final pellet. So you load it into this press, and then you try and close the press. If you can't quite close the press, if it's too hard, then you need to slightly rotate the bottom until you get to the point where you can just close the press with all your might. If it's too easy to close, it's not going to press the pellet. So now we've got it rotated to the point where when we really work at it, we can just get it closed all the way. And you want it all the way closed like it is there. And when you're leaving it closed, it's applying a huge amount of pressure to that salt that you put in there and compressing it into a salt pellet or a window. When you're ready to open it, you bend that bar down on the top and bend it down all the way. And then you take out the setup that you loaded into there earlier. And when you disassemble it, you should have a transparent window. Now this window is not the best. You see that there's a bit of opaque stuff in the bottom left. The more transparent your window, the better your spectrum is going to be.